What's up guys, this is your boy Just Minus here with another video deck profile. If you guys do hear an echo, I do apologize. I'm not in my studio right now. So yeah, keep that in mind. If you hear a lot of echo, I do apologize right now. Anyways, let's just jump right ahead. We do have a Mutant Deck Profile, and it's actually pretty good. It's actually pretty troll. It's a no Yugioh, at least this build. Alright, so we're gonna start off with 3 Mutant M5s. So when he's normal or special summon, if this card is normal or special summon, you can search for a mutant monster and add it to your hand. His other effect is tribute itself and then banish one card from your hand or face of the field, and you get to special summon a mutant monster, the level 8 ones, based on what card type you banished. If it's monster, you summon Mutant Beast. If it's spell, you summon Mutant Missed. And if it's a trap card, you summon Mutant Arsenal. Hard ones per turns. Right, so 3 off of those. Then the next 3 is Mutant ST46. Same thing as M5, the only thing is this one searches for a mutant spell or trap card. And the same thing, you can tribute him and special summon a level 8 mutant depending on the card type you banish from your hand or field. Next, we're going to jump into the level 8 mutant monsters. So this is Mutant Beast. His effect is essentially when your opponent activates a spell card or effect, quick effect, banish one card from your hand or field, and that's any card. It doesn't have to be monster or spell or trap. It's any card. Banish it, negate the activation, and if you do, banish that card. Pretty good. So he's your anti-spell monster, right? Hard ones per turn. If this card is destroyed, in the owner's possession, by an opponent's card, target one of your banished mutant traps and add it to your hand. So he recycles any mutant trap cards that are banished, which you will be doing a lot of banishing. Next guy is Mutant Arsenal, level 8. He's the biggest one, 3k beat stick. His effect is quick effect. When your opponent activates a monster effect, you can banish a card from your hand or field, target a monster in the field, and banish it. So it doesn't negate that monster's effect, but it does banish it, and it banishes any monster that's on the field. Eventually, it does target, so that's one downside, but again, not most of the powerful cards, or strong cards, the good ones at least, have the, you can't target this card. But, this pretty much lets you banish things before they can summon those big monsters, right? So really good card. And when this guy's destroyed by an opponent's card, you can target one of your banished mutant spell cards and add it to your hand. So this guy adds the spell cards. Alright? Next we're going to go on to the last level 8, Mutant Missed. So when the opponent activates a trap card, quick effect, banish a card from the hand or field and draw 2 cards. So that's it. It doesn't do anything, it doesn't negate or anything, but it lets you draw 2 cards, so it's a draw power card. It doesn't see a lot of play. I have it because I need it for the level 8 fusion monsters. Fusion monster and the level 9 mutant fusion monster. If this card is destroyed by an opponent's card, target one of your banished mutant monsters and add it to your hand. Alright? So that one recycles back monsters. Well, mutant monsters. Next, I'm gonna show you the remainder of the cards that are not mutant. Nemesis Keystone, one of. He can special summon itself by shuffling back a target back into the deck, and this target is obviously has to be in your banish zone. So target one banished monster, shuffle it back, and special summon this guy. His other effect is during the end phase, if he is banished or is currently banished and was banished this turn, you can add this card back to your hand. So it's always like having extra special summon, especially in this deck, since there's always banished cards in the banish field. Alright, so 1 copy of Nemesis Keystone. Next is the no Yugioh cards. There's going to be 3 copies of Ash, Blossom, and Joyous Spring. Obviously, everybody knows what this card does, but in case you don't, when an effect or a card is activated that includes any of these effects, quick effect, discard. Add a card from deck to hand, special summon from the deck, or send a card from deck to graveyard. Hard ones per turn. Probably, actually, the best hand trap, in my opinion, in the current game. Next we have Dimension Shifter. This guy wrecks things, especially if you rely on the graveyard a lot. His effect is pretty much if you have no cards in your graveyard, which is usually at the beginning of the game or midway, because sometimes, like I said, this deck does banish a lot. You might end up with an empty graveyard at some point. Anyways, quick effect. Send this card from the hand to the graveyard, and until the end of the next turn, any card sent to the graveyard is banished instead. So it's a macrocosmos. It sends anything that's sent to the graveyard to the banish zone until the end of the next turn when this card is activated. So a really good card. Like I said, no Yugioh right here. And lastly, the last three monsters is going to be Necroface. I love this card. If you open with this hand, with one of these, and one of the level 4 mutant monsters, your opponent's going to have a nightmare. So let me start off. So when he's summoned, if this card is normal summon, you can shuffle all banished cards into the deck. Then this card gains 100 attack for each card shuffled into the main deck by this effect. So this isn't only your banished zone, but also your opponent's banished zone. So if you end up shuffling back, let's say 20 cards in total, he'll gain 100 attack for each. So that'll be 2,000 attack points. So it'll make him 32. Just as an example. But his best effect is this one. If this card is banished, each player banishes 5 cards from the top of their deck or their entire deck of less than 5. So the combo is pretty much you tribute your MO5 or your ST46, whichever one, and you banish this guy from your hand. Special summon the beast, and then this will activate in the banish zone, and then you banish 5 more. I've had literally a couple duels where I get 2, so I banish 1 and then banishes 5, and then I banish in those 5s that I banished from the first one, I banish the other one. There's only once where I got all 3 in a row. I was playing against a scrub player playing Destiny Heroes. I banished 15 of his cards, and it was pretty much game from, anything. It was pretty much game after that. So really good card, overpowered in this deck, I think. But hey, Konami brought it back, so that ain't my problem. Now we're gonna go to the spell cards. In the spell cards, I run 3 copies of Mutant Evolution Lab. When it's activated, you can special summon a level 4 or lower mutant monster from your hand or banished zone. Really good card. I'll go on with the combo later. Let me keep going. So, and on top of that, mutant monsters that you control gain 100 attack of your banished for each of your banished mutant monster cards with different names. So if you have 6 different cards with different names in your banished zone, your mutant monsters will gain that much, 100 each. So really good card. And lastly, if you're in a pickle, you can place 1 mutant monster from your hand to the bottom of the deck, and if you do, you draw 1 card. Sometimes that has come in handy for me, but its first effect of special summoning level 4 or lower is the most important one for this card. Right? So yeah, 3 copies of Mutant Evolution. That's really important. Can't run less than 3. Next we have a copy of Mutant Fusion. It really hasn't come up for me, but you never know, right? You have to fusion summon a Mutant Fusion monster from the extra deck by banishing materials listed on it from your hand or field. So like I said, it doesn't come up too frequent for me, but if it does, great. And then the other effect, which is really conditional, it's if your opponent has activated a card effect this turn, you can use up to 1 monster each from your deck and graveyard as fusion material. So really good, but at that point you kind of would have to be expecting if a lone fire is going to be activated or anything, a hand trap or something, right, if you're going first. But good card, anyway, just 1 of them. Next copies are non-mutant cards. It'll be the first one, Emergency Teleport, special summons level 3 or lower, Psychic. Sorry, I don't know why I kept saying level 4. Oh, you know what? Oh, they're probably going to make a level 4 mutant, because I forgot. M5 is level 2, ST46 is 3. This first summon is a level 3 or lower. Usually I go with ST46 if I don't have the field spell in my hand. If I do have the field spell, I go with MO5 to search for ST46. I just noticed that. Yeah, there's probably going to be another mutant monster. Anyways, really good card. There's a reason why it's banned, and this is why. So, One of, I wish it was at least 2. It would make this deck a little bit more consistent, which it already is, but it would make it a little bit more consistent. Next is Gold Sarcophagus. This one, really depending on your hand, you either banish one of your little mutant guys and then activate the spell card to spare summon it, or if you already have the field spell or MO5 in your hand, that's a combo, or ST46, you can banish the Necroface and just wreck your opponent. Really good card. One of. And lastly, for the spell cards, is 3 copies of Pot of Desires. So if you can afford it, go with Pot of Extravagance. It's a much better card. But if you don't, then this is fine. The reason why is when you banish those face down, yes, you can't use their effects. They're pretty much out of the game because they're face down. But Necroface, if you have it, you summon it, it just shuffles him back, and he still gains a 100. So it's not a bad card. It's a really good card regardless. But Pot of Extravagance would be a lot better. So yeah, 3 copies of Pot of Desires for just the draw power. All right. Now we're gonna move on to our trap cards, which we do have more than spells. And contrary to belief, trap cards are slow, blah blah blah. I think right now we're in the format where, since Called by the Grave is gone, I mean, some people still run it even though it's at 1, but I think right now it's a good way to use trap cards. And these are the ones. For one, we're going to start with the mutant cards. So it's Mutant Cry. So this is a one where you pitch, if you already have a field zone, that you pitch with Mutant ST46. During the main phase, fusion summon 1 Mutant Fusion monster from the extra deck by shuffling the materials listed on it into the deck from among your cards on the field, in your graveyard, and or your face-up banished cards. So field, graveyard, banished zone. You can use it as materials from there. Really good card. And it's a really good disruptive card when you want to, screw over your opponent. So 3 of, must run 3. I don't think any less would be good. Next we have Mutant Expansion. I was running 3 before, but decided to go with 2 because this deck does have search cards all over the place. And if not, then my trap cards and hand traps, will stall long enough to get to this. Anyway, when you activate this card, target level 4 lower mutant monster from the deck and either add it to your hand or special summon it. Good effect right there. The second effect is if a level 8 or higher mutant monster you control would be destroyed by card effect, you can banish this card you control instead. So this one will protect your level 8 monsters, including the level 8 and level 9 fusion ones. So good card, hard ones per turn. 2 of. You can run 3. 3 is good, but I like 2 better. Anyways, there looks like there's a glare. Next 3 is gonna be Infinite Impermanence. 3 copies. Really good card. Again, if you control no cards, you can activate this from hand. Self-explanatory. And if it's already been on the field and you activate it, whatever's in that column, if a spell or trap card is activated, their effects are negated. Good card. Next, and the last copies of the main deck, 3 Dogmatic Punishments. This is probably the best disrupted budget card in trap cards right now. I love this card. If you have a deck that doesn't rely too much on the extra deck, you want to run this. Essentially, you target a face-up monster your opponent controls and send 1 monster with an equal or higher attack from your extra deck to the graveyard. And if you do, you destroy that monster. Obviously, the downside is until the end of your next turn, after this card resolves, you can ask someone else from the extra deck. That's fine. I don't need them. Usually, I'm just banishing stuff, and interrupting the opponent with the mutant level 8 monsters. But the one thing that you do is when you play this, it really is you destroy 2, because you do send the monster from the extra deck, you pop it, and then what you send from the extra deck is Elder Entities. I don't know if that's how you say it, and if this card is sent to the graveyard, you get to pop any card on the field. Really good card. So that's why I run 3 Draconic Punishments. So now that you saw the main deck, we're gonna move on to the extra deck. All right. So let me just put these away. All right. Here we go. First copies is Mutant Ultimus. I do want to mention, I ordered a second copy and they had issues with the delivery. I think it got lost or something, and I did not receive it. That was about 2 weeks ago. I ordered another one, and same thing happened. Uh, that they never sent it because they never had it, but they never told me. So I was tired of waiting. I didn't want to do this, but I had to put a proxy in the meantime. But I do run 2 Mutant Ultimus, and I didn't want to wait any longer for you guys to see this deck profile already. So yeah, 2 Mutant Ultimus. He's the strongest one with a 3,500 attack. He requires 3 level 8 mutant monsters, which there are 3 level 8s in this deck. And essentially what this guy is, when a card or effect is activated, quick effect, you can banish 1 mutant card from your hand, graveyard, or face-up field of the same type, monster, spell, or trap. Negate activation, and if you do, banish that card. So, whatever they activate, as long as you have the card type in your field, graveyard, or banish zone, you can negate it and banish the card. So really, really good card. I think I said any card. Mutant card from your hand. So it has to be a mutant card. So mutant, spell, trap, or monster to negate the whatever card that they activated. And then if this fusion summon card you control is destroyed by an opponent's card, you can add up to 3 of your banished mutant cards, up to 1 each of monster, spell, and trap, and add them to your hand. So again, good card. I really love the artwork. I think there's a reason why I chose this deck because of the artwork. Besides that, it has a cool mechanics. The next ones is Mutant Synthesis. Most extra deck monster that I use in this deck. Pretty much, it requires 2 mutant monsters with different attributes. If he is fusion summoned, target 1 card on the field, destroy it. And then, when your opponent activates a card effect, quick effect. Activate this effect. For the rest of the turn, this face-up card is unaffected by the effects of an opponent's card of the same type, monster, spell, or trap card, as that card is. So essentially, if your opponent activates Regeki, you activate this, and he's unaffected by spell cards. And vice versa, if you do it, if you activate it when a monster effect activates or a trap card activates, he'll be unaffected by those card types. Lastly, if this fusion summon card you control is destroyed by an opponent's card, you can add one of your banished mutant cards to your hand, and that's pretty much it. Just give me back a mutant card. Hard once per turn. Next, obviously, we have the 3 Elder Entities. I don't really use the other effects, but when she's sent to the graveyard, pop a card. Dogmatic Punishment, that's the only reason why. So 3 of those. Then we have one totally awesome. In case I can't run into MO5 or ST46 for some reason, I activate Dogmatic Punishment, and when he sends to graveyard, you can add you can target a water monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand. There's points where sometimes I have to tribute my water the mutant cards, and for some reason I can't, either get Ash Blossomed or whatever it may be, and it doesn't go through. This will just help me recycle it back when I really need it. That's the only reason why I have this. Then 1 copy of rank 8 Dengruso, the Orcus of the Evening Star. When he's a special summoned, you can activate one of these effects. Send a card from your opponent's control. Send 1 card your opponent controls to the graveyard. Cool, it doesn't target. And attach one of your banished machine monsters to this card as material. I don't have any machines here, I believe, so that doesn't really matter. But this is to get rid of annoying cards that are not targetable, can't be destroyed by card effects, all of that jazz. He'll just send it, right? So, goodbye, time to go home. But yeah, 1 copy of. Then we run True King of all Calamities. I think everybody knows what this card does, I don't need to explain it. I run it because there is 2 Mutant Ultimus, which are both level 9. If they are on the field, I probably would never Exy summon this, but if I have to, I'd Exy summon it for this guy. It's another no Yugioh card. Next we have the Link lineup, which aren't really used a lot. Nightmare Phoenix, in case I can't get rid of a spell or trap card for some reason. Cross Sheep. I do run fusions here, and when fusion card is special summoned in one of these zones that it points to, you can special summon a level 4 or lower monster from the grave. Doesn't see a lot of play, but when it does, it comes in handy. And then I run 1 Topologic Transmania. If a monster special summoned to a zone this card points to, banish as many of those monsters as possible, also as many spells and traps on the field as possible. And if you do, inflict 500 damage to your opponent for each of their cards banished by this effect. It comes in handy when you're facing a deck that runs a lot of spells and traps. Yeah, you just banish it, special summon something in its link, and banish it, and yeah, wreck stuff, you know. And lastly, if I need to go bigger, I summon the big boy, Topologic Cyroboros. So you cannot summon or set monsters. So you can't summon or set any monsters in the extra zone this card points to. But this is his cool effect. It gains 200 attack for each banished card. Oh man, this guy can get big. So if usually I have a good amount of at least averagely 15 to 25 cards, but let's just say I have 20. This guy will gain 4,000 attack points just off my banner zone only, bringing them up to 7,000 attack points. Plus, obviously, the opponent's banner zone. So he'll get big. And it's really something that the opponent probably would not get over unless he has, you know, a miracle hand. Anyway, that's one effect. This other effect is, if another monster is special summoned to his own link monster points to, while this monster is on the field, banish all cards on the field. Really strong effect. Then, once per turn during the standby phase of your next turn after this card was banished by its own effect, special summon this banished card. So, alright, you know, you summon something in a link monster that is pointing to, everything's banished, bam, I'm back. Stronger than ever this thing, because there's now more cards in the banner zone. So yeah. So anyways, thank you for watching this Mutant Deck Profile. Sorry that it took so long. I usually don't like proxies, but I couldn't wait any longer. They just kept missing, and you know, these vendors just messing up. But I hope you guys liked it and enjoyed it. If you liked this video, subscribe and like. I'd really appreciate it. Make sure to stay. I do have some duels that I recorded, so you guys can see how much of a shenanigans this deck can do. But yeah, anyways, this is your boy Just Minus, and I'm out.